Welcome to the inaugural edition of HT Next, a leadership platform to address key topics that are pertinent to today's generation, as it is this generation that will bring leaders with the new vision, leaders who will define and refine the entrepreneurship in modern times. In synchronization with this idea, the theme of this year's summit is Leading the Change. The sub-theme today is Healthcare, Technology, and Entrepreneurship in the Diagnostic segment. The Indian diagnostic industry has been rapidly evolving over the years. It has emerged to be a key component of the healthcare segment. This is in the backdrop of an ever increasing reliance of healthcare professionals and medical experts for validity and accuracy of test reports. We aim to bring two different perspectives from two different generations, but from the same family. I am Neetu Chandra Sharma to discuss the changes a young mind brings into an established business and complex domain of public health, diagnostics, and technology, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we have with us Dr. Naveen Dang, Director of Dr. Dang's Lab, New Delhi. Having started Dr. Dang's Lab in 1985, Dr. Naveen is known for pioneering quality in the field of diagnostics in India. An alumnus of the prestigious All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, he has authored a number of original research papers in various national and international journals of repute. He has also been actively involved in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic in India, and he has also been a member of various committees formed by the government. Also joining us is his son, Dr. Arjun Dang, who is the CEO of Dr. Dang's Lab. It is also interesting to note here that Dr. Arjun, a young and dynamic entrepreneur in the diagnostic space, set up India's first drive-through center for sample collection of COVID-19 patients. It is also worthy of mentioning here that Dr. Arjun has also been awarded Hindustan Times Trailblazer 2021 Award for innovations during the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us start our discussion with Dr. Naveen. Sir, you studied in the prestigious medical institutions such as AIIMS and PGI Chandigarh. Like securing top positions in government healthcare entities is a dream for many. But what motivated you to become an entrepreneur and not continuing with working with the Premier Medical Institute? Sir.
Thank you, Hindustan Times. Thank you, Neetu, for giving me the privilege of being here today. The question which you asked me is very pertinent, and so was it relevant 35 years back when I started my own practice. I would like to start by telling you, please understand that I am a doctor at heart. I love my patients, I love my work, and I chose to be a doctor out of choice. It was not a compulsion. I was working in the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, but as destiny would have it, I was in a specialty which was considered a background specialty. I love meeting my patients, but those were the days when a lab was considered to be a place where samples would come, we would process it, and the report would go. There was no patient interaction. At that time in Delhi, there were only 4 private hospitals and only a handful of labs. The demand of diagnostic tests was increasing. The samples were collected from the ward from the patients. It used to take a long time for the reports to be ready and delivered. That's not what I liked. The idea was to serve the patients, whether in the government sector or in the private sector, it just did not matter. The focus was the patient. Seeing the vacuum which was there, seeing the need which was there, and seeing the role which diagnostics was playing, I thought it would be a good idea to start off now. With this fixation in mind, that I will be able to provide better services, I'll be able to provide better turnaround times of the tests, I'll be able to interact with the patients, I'll be able to talk to the doctors, I'll be able to talk to the patients, and empower them to take timely medical decisions and fill in this vacuum which was there in the private sector. That is what motivated me to start on my own. My wife, Dr. Manju Dang, is also a pathologist from PGI Chandigarh. So it was a young couple of 30 plus years who decided to venture out on this world and take on everybody and prove to the world that we can do it by providing personalized patient care, quality of services, and rapid turnaround times, which will be extremely beneficial to the patients.
Very interesting insights, Dr. Naveen. Well, today's medical students who have a knack of entering into the healthcare business would certainly learn from your experiences. Well, kindly elaborate a little more for our audience. As many of us know that Dr. Dang's lab was one of the first three labs to have started testing for H1N1 or swine flu in 2009 and was almost the first few private labs in New Delhi to be granted permission for testing of coronavirus. Well, established a big diagnostic company, this is not a task that can be done in a day. What were the major challenges that you faced when you embarked your journey to establish this company?
Neetu,
So,
with all due respect and apologies, I would like to stand you corrected in a way. First, it is not a company. Number two, it's not a business. Number three, it's not an industry. It's a profession. It's a medical profession where we took the oath of looking after our patients. And that is what I want the younger generation to realize and feel. To feel for the patients, to feel that how much they are dependent on you. Once you have this in your mind, the realization dawns that so many decisions, medical decisions, are dependent on you that you will tend to give your best. And of course, people have asked me what is the trick of the trade. There's nothing on the trick of the trade. It is knowing the trade. And you can only know the trade by reading and studying and keeping yourself abreast with the latest technologies. My advice is do not be scared of embracing technology. Let not the new technologies bypass you. Step forward. There's nothing which is the rocket science. You can very easily learn. You asked and mentioned about 2009 H1N1 outbreak. Here I'll tell you a small incident. H1N1 hit Delhi and India in 2009. That time, the Honorable Chief Minister called a collection of labs and said that how many of you can start testing for H1N1? To be very honest, I had no clue. But I knew that I could do it by investing, by studying, by learning. The teachers are always there to teach you. I always remain indebted to my teachers, and I like to always say that a doctor is a doctor only as long as a student. And second thing is, I like to quote from that 1936 George Bernard Shaw book, Doctor's Dilemma, where he said that doctors should know how to say, I don't know. So with this fixation, in that meeting with the Honorable Chief Minister, I said, I can do it in 15 days. Same evening, I was called onto the national television where I repeated the same statement that I can do it in 15 days. From ordering the equipment and my team, which has been there with me for last so many years, I took this endeavor just heads on, and with the help of my teachers, with the help of National Communicable Disease Hospital, that is NCDC, and all others whom I could take help from. Within 15 days, I set up one of the best molecular biology labs, and with the help of that, I could start delivering tests from the 16th day onwards. Now, as days evolved, I realized that the future lay in infectious diseases. Infectious diseases was going to become a problem. So my experience of 2009, which I continued by introducing more and more tests on my molecular biology platform, I was not surprised when I was called upon by the government in March to join them and let the private and the public sector become one to start testing for COVID virus. We were one of the first three labs in the country which started doing this, to be precisely on 27th March 2020. We had to procure the reagents, we had to read about it. It became a war zone out here. We were working 24/7 from the different kind of media, different kind of kits, different kind of primers and probes, and above all, convincing the government and talking to them that we are here shoulder to shoulder to work with you and take this country out of this pandemic. We worked hard, and I think the results show, I don't have to elaborate more, that we did manage to deliver with our entrepreneurship and our enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was an articulate idea that many of us will learn from. Now, I will loop you in, Dr. Arjun, for having an overview on the Herculean task that you realized before entering the healthcare entrepreneurship arena. You certainly had big boots to fill, considering Dr. Naveen's success and the seed of this important business that he, grew. So, what really motivated you to take up this business in diagnostic sector? Do you enjoy being involved in the industry, which is at the peak of its growth during this COVID-19 pandemic, especially?
Firstly, thank you, Neetu, and a big thanks to Hindustan Times for having me on this very prestigious forum. I'm absolutely honored and privileged to be here speaking with you. So it was way back in 2016 when I was in London and pursuing my fellowship in liver pathology that there were two distinct, very distinct paths that lay in front of me. One was to continue in the UK, and the other one was to come back home and take forward this legacy. Obviously, this legacy was a lab that was known for its unparalleled quality and exceptional patient care, the basis of which was based on protocols and processes that was laid down by my own parents. And I definitely decided to choose the latter, knowing that I will have very big shoes to fill, but with a crystal clear aim of actually wanting to make a difference. Today, we are here where diagnostics again is actually leading to a majority of the medical decisions that the doctors make. And I certainly wanted to be a part of this service that we provide to the community. And actually, going a step back, the primary reason that I actually joined the medical profession was because of my late grandfather, Dr. Emil Dang, who was a very renowned physician during the partition times and also decades after that in the circles of Delhi. Coming to your second question about how enjoyable it's been, I'd like to humbly confess that it's been an absolute roller coaster ride. Ever since last year in March, when we started testing and the pandemic came to India, we've had learning that has been a constant. With the science behind the virus itself evolving on a weekly or a daily basis, it required a lot of learning, relearning, recalibration of processes, thinking, and then actually putting forward our best. Also, I think all of us have been through, apart from this learning, very extreme times of uncertainty, where most of us have lost someone close, either family or friends. And certainly moving forward, I would hope and pray that the worst of COVID is behind us. And with the nationwide process of inoculation and vaccination, I hope that there is no other COVID surge in the future.
Dr. Naveen, I will move on to you for a contrast question here. Sir, laboratory medicine today is an established field. There are several players spread all across India. What was the scenario when you started Dr. Dang's lab? And we see a sea change in consumers' demand and awareness about their own health. In order to maintain their health quotient, consumers today want to keep a tab on their vital statistics and maintain their health on a day-to-day basis. This is why the diagnostics market we see, it's specifically home testing has picked up and it is growing significantly. Needless to say, you have seen decades of change in the diagnostic space. How would you compare the industry then and now? And what is your experience during this pandemic?
Me too. When I started my clinic in 1985, like I said, there were only 4 private hospitals in Delhi and a handful of labs. But all of them were trying their best to deliver. Diagnostic was considered to be a hole in the wall kind of a specialty, back end specialty. I tried my best to change the whole thing by bringing to the forefront, by giving quality tests, by increasing the menu of tests which were there, bringing in automation. Bringing in automation was tough because I had to educate the doctors, I had to educate the patients. My every Sunday for those 10 years was spent only taking lectures on all different parts of the country, It may have been Panipat or it may have been Moradabad, anywhere. I would just go and tell the local radio station that give me a chance to speak. I would convince them that how important it was to bring in automation, how the automated results were different from that of manual results, and how much accuracy and quality mattered. We were one of the first labs to go in for National Accreditation Board of Laboratories Accreditation. We tried to bring in a point that accreditation by a national body was extremely important. More important than having anything else was to have a quality system in place. Those there was no quality system. Those days there was no or minimal automation. Those days lab reports were considered as just a piece of paper. By ringing up patients and asking them in the evening, every evening I would call up the patients and tell them that how they were, discuss the reports with them. Whenever there was a report which was different from what was expected, I used to talk to the doctors, and mind you, this practice continues till date. Even till today morning, I've spoken to patients and doctors and discussed their reports with them. Those were things which were missing that time. That time, it was purely simply focus on the patients. But yes, this time I will not contradict you. Now it has become an industry where we are counting, the labs are counting the number of tests being done, the costing, etc. But more important than that, the patient now has become extremely conscious of the quality of reports. Every report which does not tally clinically is questioned. Every report which patient is not satisfied with is wanting a recheck or a cross check with some other lab. So it has been a fantastic journey because in the way this is what I wanted, that patient should be aware that they're getting the best possible reports and you only compete with their own self, like I always say. It has kept all the diagnostic labs on the toes to use the best possible manpower, best possible equipment, best possible consumables, and the best possible technology. So, from being totally people oriented or a person oriented and doctor oriented profession, it has become largely dependent on technology also. So it has to be a combination of all these factors which have to be there to give quality based reports to the patients so that patients get the best possible treatment. Like here, I would again like to add one more thing. The students in the medical college have also been taught a lot to be dependent on the reports that they get. Unfortunately, in the last 1.5 years, we have seen a paradigm shift in the way there's so much of teleconsultation going on. So if the patients are not meeting the doctors, how does the doctor take a decision? That is dependent upon the reports which the doctor has provided. Let's see, time may go back again, when patients again start coming back, and I'm again able to hold their hand and explain and talk to them. But at the moment, the importance of reports which the doctor sees for teleconsultation is extremely important.
After listening to you, sir, so much of hard work has to be pulled into for a specific healthcare sector. So much of hard work has to be pulled in. So it was very interesting to know all this. But, sir, where does the professional satisfaction lie when you weigh your entrepreneurship spirit over your academic excellence? Since you have been into a lot of prestigious institutions, how do you compare both?
Neetu, satisfaction lies in having publications, in teaching, in patient care. Everything that you do is done, if done with a passion, gives you satisfaction. But for me, my greatest satisfaction has been my satisfied patients. I'm privileged and blessed that third generation of patients, and in some way, people also fourth generation of patients are coming to me. I have never bothered about having awards or rewards. My awards and rewards are the gratitude of the patients who they have showered on me. It was in 1990s. For the sake of confidentiality, I'll not mention the name. When a child suffering from leukemia, admitted in Apollo Hospital, shared the same birthday as mine, that is 6th April, and on that day, that patient wrote a letter to me. And that child of 10 years died the next day. How much it affected me. That imagine on the last day before she died, she thought of me, a simple person who just started a lab, who's not even a clinician. That is what my reward is. I've got here cupboards in this full with letters, notes, souvenirs, memoirs of my patients who wrote to me when they were unwell. My satisfaction is a gentle squeeze in my hand when a patient comes to that. My satisfaction is when a patient says, "Thank you, Dr. Dang." My satisfaction says when a son walks in and says that you helped my father. Then a father comes in and says, he helped my child. That is the satisfaction, and that is what I wanted, and that's what I have got, and that's what I'm grateful to God about.
We have had fun chatting with the senior Dr. Dang regarding his rich experience of business over these decades and his so much of emotional experiences that he has just shared with us. So I will come back to you, Dr. Arjun. You would agree with me that over the years there has been a major shift in consumer psyche and preference. Increasingly, the consumers look at the best quality, accuracy, and timeliness of reports. The consumers today are also now extra cautious about their health and well being. Well, as mentioned by Dr. Dang, today if we look at the global statistics, over 70% of the medical decisions across the globe are based on laboratory results only. So young entrepreneurs like you have a different vision of their businesses. They have no preconceived notions. They think outside of the box. They push boundaries, and all this is what it takes to be an entrepreneur who has a potential to change the world. With the cutthroat competition in the industry that you see today, how do you try to be ahead of the rest? And any trade secrets that you would like to share with our audience? Senior Dr. Dang did not tell us. Maybe you can share something with us.
Sure. Thank you for that very pertinent question. Certainly, along with the psyche of the patients and consumers, what significantly and drastically changed, and especially over the 18 to 24 months, is probably the keenness for good health. And that is something that has been heightened post the pandemic. And also the awareness regarding the value of a correct or a good quality report has certainly gone up in the eyes of the average consumer. Also, post the pandemic, what I've actually seen and realized is that the power of preventive screening through regular lab tests is something that patients and persons and the general population have taken a note of, and actually are coming forward with these regular screening and preventive checks and tests. And I would think that is certainly a major positive, because they do realize that a timely test can detect a disease that is probably brewing right now, and management can be started, and better treatment and follow up can be provided. Also, over the COVID pandemic, with so many of COVID tests being performed by so many and numerous labs, I would say that patients now certainly look for accredited labs. They also look at credentials of a particular lab, also go into what methodology is being used, what is the timeliness of the report, etc. So, this is something that we have seen that has evolved over the past few years. Also, to stay ahead of the curve, obviously it is a constant process that would probably require us to stay updated and abreast with the latest technologies, new practices all over the world, what is happening in the diagnostic segment, and also read on a constant basis so we can adapt these new technologies and train our teams and embrace the technology that is being used in the West, and etc. So again, coming to a trade secret, so what we've always believed in and is our ethos is probably the formula of the three P's, that is patience, passions, and perseverance. Inside this triad, with the latest technology, talented and trained manpower, and most importantly, new thought processes, is something where we strive to deliver perfection in our reports all day and every day of our lives.
Okay, Dr. Arjun, we would like to understand more on this. The laboratories today have brought diagnostic services at the doorstep of consumers, and which is keeping pace with the teleconsultation with doctors that Senior Dr. Dang was saying. The labs have indeed upscaled the healthcare segment as a whole. And the Indian laboratory diagnostics industry, estimated at US dollars 6 billion, is growing at a very healthy rate of 13 to 14% per annum. And with more than 1 lakh labs in India, the industry is also highly fragmented, and the largest of the organized players has a market share of less than 5%. What are your new ideas to grow? With your drive through in coronavirus testing being a great success, and today we see that many labs now are following your lead. How do you look back at this initiative, and what are your new plans ahead to take this legacy forward?
Sure. So again, very important question with the online consults and teleconsults having grown drastically in the past year, and patients also now being always apprehensive to go to any kind of healthcare institute or a hospital or a lab. Where labs in the future, in the near future, will look at the brick and mortar structure that has been there around since many years, will want feet on the street. The main aim for the labs, the local labs and the lab chains also would be to build a huge online presence with the route of going online and providing patients with increased accessibility and a good patient experience. That is from the time of booking till the time they get the reports and assistance to understand the reports, etc. I think is going to require abundant attention. Also, again, staying ahead of the curve, I feel it is never that we can focus on volumes, but we also need to focus on the granular details that provide value to a particular patient. I think value over volumes is something that has been going on since many years, and I'm here to take it forward to the best of my abilities. Also, what I would like to say here is that since many years, I am a die-hard believer that the trust and empathy between a doctor and a patient, no matter how much of technology we embrace, obviously we leverage artificial intelligence, get the best methods and techniques. I think the trust and empathy between a doctor and a patient will always remain. It has, and in the future as well, will be the cornerstone of any high patient impact healthcare organization.
Well, fantastic speaking with you both, Dr. Naveen and Dr. Arjun. Thank you so much for adding such a rich perspective to this idea. So these were the two entrepreneurs from two different generations sharing their own set of experiences. While the previous generation has an amalgamation of solid background of knowledge and hard work to erect a business from its base, the new generation has innovative ideas and the advantage of newest technologies to scale up an established business to new heights. With this wonderful conversation, we would now close this session, but stay tuned for more such insightful and exciting discussions ahead of HT Next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.